What's happening, people? Welcome to today's Flex and Rant show. We're doing it a little bit different today. You can see the title is Solskjaers Swap Shop, and we will be talking a little bit about football, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room at all. We refuse to kind of do that. Before I get into what today's show is going to be about, let's just check in with everyone. Rants, as usual, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, all good. Same
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Mark, good to have you here today.
Yeah, good to be on as well. Doing it off my phone for once. So yeah, good to be on. And yeah, let you crack on.
Yeah. What it is, guys, is look, at the end of the day, we all know what's going on a world level. And firstly, I want to say we've demonetized this video because we know what some people are like out there. You're trying to make money off these issues and stuff like that. But we wanted to kind of talk about this situation, and there's a lot of people. Obviously, the Blackout Tuesday thing. I've done it on Instagram, and there's a lot of diversifying opinions of whether content should be going on. And I know AFTV have said they're not doing any content today, and that's fine. That's absolutely their right to do that, and we support that as well. We support whatever people want to do. But we thought, as a United Stand community, with a Manchester United community, and just fan communities, we're so widely received around the world, and we wanted to reflect that in everything. And I think it was our duty, we felt anyway, to actually come on and speak about what's going on in the world, and just have our say. Yeah, we all love football, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we're all human beings of different cultures, different races, different creeds, etc. So I think staying silent, we felt, would be more powerful today, to keep the video title the same, which would probably attract more of you, if I'm honest, rather than changing the title to Black Lives Matters or anything like that, anything political. We thought we'd keep it as normal as we can for you guys, to actually get you guys to tune in and hear what we have to say. So there's been a lot going on. Mark, obviously you're a guest on our show today. How have you felt with what's been going on, and what's your views, man, on what's been going on?
I mean, well, we spoke about it before, and the Flex and Rant show is part of the United Stand. And the first thing I would say is that, I mean, I feel sort of privileged to be on it, because I don't feel comfortable as a white person talking about it. And people say, oh, well, that's because you're awkward. It's not. I feel like I totally get what Leclerc said in response to Hamilton. And Hamilton was right when he said, I'm the only one saying anything about it in Formula One. When Leclerc came out and said, I should have said something, because I do agree with it. But when I say something, it's almost like I'll be perceived as being, oh, you'll never know what it's like. And then you take that on the chin and you go, no, I don't know what it's like. But I do back it. I totally 100% back it. And I mean, look, from my point of view, I used to work in the police. I know a lot of good people in the police. And I know that there are people in the police who are not good people as well. But that's in all life. And there are white men who are bad people. There are white women who are bad people. There are black men who are bad people. We can keep going on. But the point is, I don't live in a world like that anymore. I don't. United Stand's not like that. The United Stand community's not like that. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And for me, I think that I totally understand the anger. And I think it is a time for anger, because I've seen the video. It's disgusting. Doesn't matter who it is. Disgusting. I saw Katie Hopkins saying something about his background. I don't know whether it's true. I'm not even going to mention it, because ultimately it doesn't matter what his background is. He's just been murdered on a camera. So doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right. But what interests me is that I want you lot to talk and have your say. But I do also think that there needs to be an acknowledgement in the mainstream media of this. And I know there'll be people watching this who don't like it, because they feel guilt. They feel like it's unfair to be targeted as a racist just because you're white or whatever like that. But ultimately, I think, from being a guy who's been here on this planet for 3 decades, I grew up in a time where racism was funny. And I don't know why this conversation doesn't be had. I went to school in a town where there was no black people, Asian people. I grew up in the 80s. The shows are still there now. It was funny to be racist. It was funny to be sexist. It was funny to take the piss out of people. That was the world we lived in. And until we acknowledge that and accept that most of us don't live in that world anymore, but some people do, we're never going to change. I mean, I saw the Liverpool-Chelsea thing yesterday. I so nearly retweeted it when they had them round the circle, because I thought what you did to Evra was a disgrace. And there you are now all going, oh, look at this. But I didn't retweet it because I actually thought, well, if we don't invite these people who've made mistakes in the past, racist, whatever, to change, then how will it ever change? The problem is when it becomes token. Oh, I'm just going to do that because it makes me look good. You've got to believe it, and you've got to understand it. And I was talking to Flex before I came on. I lived in a world where I didn't see many black people or Asian people. I moved away from that world when I was 18 to live in Dublin, and then I came back and I've lived in Birmingham. And my whole life since I've been 18 has just been people, skin color, disability, whatever. It's just people. And I think until you open up your eyes to that, you're always going to perceive things as being different, and fear can breed racism. Lots of things can breed it. But I think it's about time we address the elephant in the room, like you said, that it's not okay to be racist, but there was a time when it happened and we were all part of that. And until we, I think people pretend they've never been a racist. They've never had racist thoughts. And to me, that's not wrong. That's wrong. Because it's not I grew up in a world where people were cracking jokes about it. I grew up with lads who, what I used to play football with, and they would be laughing along with it. And I think back and think now how horrible that was for them. But that was the world we lived in. And it's not right, but it's not wrong to acknowledge that used to go on, and that was the world you lived in. It's not the world we live in now. I think people are so scared of it. They're like, oh, I've never been a racist. I've never joked anything about racism. The reality is you probably have. And it's that education. But at the moment, I think everyone's very angry. And through that, you've got to start seeing people as people and not as, I don't get it. I mean, in America, why is it always the black man? Why is it not the Hispanic or the Indian or anything like that? I don't get that. England, UK, Europe is not America, but racism does exist.
Powerful stuff, man. I agree with pretty much everything you had to say there, Rants. On what Mark's just said there, and just your own personal feelings, we're all going to have our say on this, man. How have you seen what's been going on, bro?
I don't know, bro. Like Bonucci just posted something. I had to retweet it because after
what did he say?
What happened when he was like no to racism? Remember what happened with Moise Keane, yeah? And he basically said that he incited the racism and basically blamed him for it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
coming out tweeting no to racism. These guys are clowns, innit? Like 99% of this thing is disingenuous. The Liverpool thing, they can piss off. The Chelsea thing, they can piss off as well, because when Anton Ferdinand was getting bullets sent to his address, yeah, after John Terry racially abused him, them guys, I'm sure he hasn't received an apology from that football club. I'm sure Patrice Evra hasn't received an apology from Liverpool Football Club. So these kneeling pictures, it's all right to speak up against something when everyone else is doing it. You don't get kudos for that. Do you know what I mean? That's my thing. So it's not like people can change. You haven't changed. Because if you'd changed, you would have contacted Patrice Evra before yesterday or the day before and done it, and you haven't, off your own back. So I'm not buying any of this. And 99% of this stuff from these broadcasters, it's all fake. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you say, oh yeah, we believe black people are equal, then you see their Christmas party and there's no black people in the photo. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've got no time for this, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're not hiring black people, you're not paying them and stuff like that, you coming out and saying that you're standing with us just so we don't boycott you, it's self-preservation. That's all it is. Do you know what I mean? If you really see people as equals, then you treat them as equals. You pay them money, you give them the opportunities and stuff like that, and you help their economy. These people aren't doing it. So for me, I've always been outspoken on it. Do you know what I mean? On racism. I've always used my platform for it. The way these broadcasters speak about black football players, the way the media speak about black football players, and none of these football clubs come out and defend their football players. None of them, including ours. Like the racial abuse, like even the other day, Dele Alli got it, and the media were more interested in telling you how much you fucking watched us than focusing on the fact that he had a knife held to him.
But Simon Jordan says a lot of stuff we don't agree with, but that was one thing I definitely did agree with him on. One thing I want to pick up on what you said there, Rants, is the fact that I know you used the analogy of look at the photo of a Christmas party. And I was watching Good Morning Britain today, and we all know what Piers Morgan's like. He's divisive at the best of time. But fair play to him, he had some guys on there today and a couple lady as well. And he was saying like how he kind of realized the penny had dropped. He was basically saying like he'd sat there and argued with this doctor over the Harry and Meghan situation and was like, it wasn't fueled by racism, etc., which is a whole different argument, but we all have our views on that. And he said he was speaking to Andy Peters. No, Andy Peters, the presenter. Yeah, and Andy Peters said to Piers, you know, you're talking about racism. He goes, look in your studio, Pierce. And he said, I'm not represented. He goes, I'm normally the only black person there. And I've been in ITV for however long he's been in ITV for. And he was just using that as a chance to say, look, we're not always represented at that level. Although people may come out at high levels and say, it's about this, it's about that, it's about bringing, you know, people of color and ethnicity in and stuff like that. And I'm not suggesting that that's why the United Stand has 2 black faces on it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want that to be the misconception. But in terms of the higher you go up the food chain, it's like black people are a minority anyway, which we know, but are they being fairly represented at the top? And that always isn't the case. Another thing that's got me going, which the Black Lives Matter thing is obviously a powerful statement. But what Mark was referring to, which is like where people get offended and stuff, it's like I keep seeing people write all lives matter or white lives matter too, or it's not, you're being racist. This is the thing with that, right? If there's an advert, let's say, guys, right, for donate money to cancer for children who got cancer, does everybody say, what about the children who have MS? If everyone was, when everyone was saying donate to the NHS, was everyone going, well, what about the fire service? Like, do you see what I'm saying? It's like you can't double down on things. And at the end of the day, we are all one and we are humans. But if I set up a charity for disadvantaged children for the area I grew up in, because I'm in a position to give back to where I came from, that's not me looking down on other communities or other disadvantaged communities. It's just me doing good. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like part of the problem is some people not seeing this as an everyday struggle for people of color. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Mark's touched on it very well. And I think it was really powerful that he came on today, because one thing that Mark said to me that struck me is like, if you're white, sometimes like, and Piers Morgan was saying, it's like, I almost feel I'm not in a position to say it because it's not my reality, which I get that to a certain extent. But also you have to understand that, like, because it's not your reality, I think you have to kind of say to yourself, so what must that be like then? What is that reality?
You come across as, it's not, I don't speak for Piers Morgan, God, I don't. I speak for myself. And, you know, you talk about the United Stand. When the United Stand football team plays, me and Scotty were the only white lads in the picture, and I wasn't even in the team. And we put the picture out.
That's our Christmas party.
Yeah, so you put the picture out and people comment on it. And I don't think they're being racist. I just think they're like going, no, spot the white man. It's not racism. It's just, maybe it is for some, maybe some isn't. But what it actually is I hadn't thought about it until I saw people make that comment. Because to me, we're just playing football. There's nothing about, oh, let's get a few more whites and Asians in because we need to. It's about lads turned up. We have trials. They're the best players, and that's what you do. And I think when it comes to footballers, and look, you know, basketball, I've really got into that. You know, there are people are very well represented in that, but when it comes to managers, certain areas of the media, it isn't. When I was in the police, it was the same. But what you can't do, and I worry about where we might go with this, what you can't do is, when there's a problem, the governments and the powers that be will find a way of, oh, let's sort that out. We need 25% of the Premier League managers to be black. Well, that will create its own problems straight away, because those black managers will end up being resented because they won't be good enough for the job. What you've got to do is you've got to start it at the bottom. You've got to give the opportunities, like Rants said. If you want somebody to be a chief inspector in the police and you want them to be black, if you want them to be the best Premier League manager and you want them to be black, if you want to be the prime minister, whatever, and you want them to be black, don't just parachute them into the job because you've got a quota to fill. Actually give them the opportunities. And I think that's the saddest thing. Why are there not enough football managers that are black? Because, to be honest, this isn't racist. I don't think Paul Ince is a very good manager. I don't.
Yeah, but it's not because he's black.
Yeah, but it's not because he's black. But I think that there are plenty. Look, there's loads of brilliant black footballers out there. Why is Ronaldinho not a manager? You know, I don't know. You know, and there's loads out there, absolutely loads. And I'm old enough to name lots of intelligent black footballers out there. Why are they not there? And that's the thing. It's going to take time. You can't just parachute people in, because you'll only make the problem worse, because people go, oh, he's only got the job because he's black. But so it is a massive problem. And I do feel disingenuous talking about it, even though now we're talking about it, I feel very passionate about it, because I'm not, you know, I want to live in a world that I live in and I see, which is an equal world, where you judge people on people. If you don't like someone, it's because you don't like them. It's not because of how they look. But I do feel disingenuous, and I think a lot of white people do, and their silence can sometimes become, quite rightly, can come across as offensive to people who are very passionate about this, i.e. black people. And it's not ignorance, it's not fear, it's just, I don't want to say something and then be told I don't know what I'm on about, because I don't know what I'm on about. I'm very angry about it. And I think that's,
what you mean, because it's not your,
people
because it's
need to
not
bring
reality.
this together. It's a bigger message with more people, and there's a lot of people who aren't black who are very offended by that, and we've seen it. And how you combine those two is going to be one of the big things. To we won't ever eradicate it, I'm sorry, but it can definitely get a hell of a lot better. And it's how you bring that, because I think there's a lot of people like me who are very awkward and want to do something about it, but don't want to tread on people's toes who are genuinely impacted by it.
Yeah. Rants, what would you say? It's an interesting point that Mark's made. And at the end of the day, right?
Well, because he said about Paul Lynch, Paul Lynch, dead manager, we can all agree on that. However, nobody looks at all these shit white managers and says, you know what, they're only managers because they're white. But that's the reality. Do you know what I mean? If you flip it on his head, all these shit white managers that keep getting jobs, do you know what I'm saying?
Plenty of them, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's white privilege, bro. Like being shit at something and being overrepresented, even though you're shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You know what I mean? Even if you're a black guy and you're good, you can be a better black manager than these man, and you'll still be managing in League One if you're lucky. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at all these managers.
Chris Hughton's probably the best one. Exactly. Chris Hughton, I think, is a very good manager. Why did Brighton sack? Oh, look, I'm not saying it was a racist decision, but Chris Hughton has got a very good pedigree at difficult clubs like Newcastle, Brighton, got him promoted. Where's he now? Where is he? He's in the Championship again.
Look what Darren Moore did, and then they sacked him.
You're crazy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's black. Like, but they don't want to have this conversation, bro. And you look at all these white managers, look at their first jobs. Look at Steven Gerrard's first job. Look at Lampard's first job. These men haven't proven themselves as managers. That's their first job. And then you're a black manager and your first job's in League Two.
It's the misrepresentation. I want to read out. This was one thing that got to me, So there was a post. I was been talking to Laura Woods over during today, actually, because, I felt like, don't get me wrong, Rants, I agree. There's definitely this tokenism from a lot of big establishments, because it's easy for them to say, let's just address this so we tick the box, 100%. But you know what it's like, Rents, when you come across people in the industry and you kind of know them, so you can say, you could almost vouch to say, you know what, I think that's coming from a sincere place. Do you know what I mean? We've all got white friends as black people who, do you know what I'm saying, who get this. Do you know what I mean? And underneath her post, I was sickened. This is some of the things I read,
Yeah.
Stopped listening. It's more like Radio 5 than a sports radio show. For F's sakes, this channel is getting as bad as Good Morning Britain. Stick to sport. Same old subject, churning out the old news now. And then the last one, that was pretty much. I could have gone on and on and on. I looked at that and I thought, that's exactly what's wrong. If you've actually got people who, because a sports outlet has taken 3 minutes, her speech was probably no longer than 3 minutes, to highlight this worldwide issue that's bigger than sport. We all talk about every lives matter, so it's bigger than sport. And they're on there saying things like that. That just went to me, hold on a minute. This is it. If people think this, what chance have we got? Do they not think they're saying we're bored of hearing about it? Do they not think that black people are bored of being mistreated? Do they not think that black people are bored of being misrepresented, bored of being brutalized, bored of being flipping murdered? And look, I think a lot of another thing which I tweeted right from the start is this. I think from a black perspective, Mark, what happens is I understand the thing from maybe people of non-color. It's like we'll get labeled. We feel like we may get labeled as racist when I'm not, so I get offended. So I jump on Twitter and like, From the other side,
well, we've seen that on the United Stand. We've seen that outside Old Trafford. Yeah,
happens.
Apparently, you're not allowed to, and I do get that. Look, and I think that is a big problem as well. But look, some people are charged by it, and I say that as a white man. There are people who are racist out there. I know people who are racist. I know people who pretend that they're not. What we need to do is get to a point where I've seen people in the live comments here saying stuff. if I could get hold of that person now, knowing they're a racist, and get them in a room and spend an hour with them, and they walk out and they're not a racist anymore, I personally don't care if they were a racist last week. If they've changed forever and they're not anymore, that's part of the victory. But that's not. That's what I mean. I don't feel that's my victory to have. I don't think that's my battle to have, because I don't know as the non-black man whether that's enough. And it is. It's never enough. It's never enough. But all I can say is, I know the world that I've grown up in, and I know I watch Only Fools and Horses, and things get bleeped out. Get yourself down the pea shop and buy us some cornflakes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that used to happen. So it's there. It's like any other ism. It's there. You've got to eradicate it. And I think now's an angry time, and it's quite rightly an angry time. Well, you've got people probably trying to solve problems that aren't ready to be solved at the moment. And I think Rants is right. There is too much disingenuous stuff whereby people are just like, oh, I'm not tweeting anything today, whatever. I had someone attack me on Twitter because I tweeted something. I said, I'll tweet what I like. Who I am, I'm happy with, and I know what I think about things, and I'll support them. But I don't need to jump on something that I think a lot of people are just jumping on because it's like wearing a ribbon or something like that. It's what happens in the days and weeks ahead, because this will happen again. Yep. This will happen again. It's been happening for too long.
And I think that's the most important bit there. Look, at the end of the day, what's happened is like is an outrageous event. It was murder in broad daylight on video footage. So it sparked this. But the underline from this, which is what I think where a lot of black people are coming from, is that away from the big cases that get publicized by the media, the mistreatment of black people is there on a daily basis in regular, normal communities and societies. That right there, look, John Barnes says a lot of crazy stuff. And I know, you know what I'm saying, everyone's got a different take on that. But he did say, Jadon Sancho holding up the George Floyd thing is powerful, 100%. It's in reaction to the outrageous thing we've just seen. But are we going to see black footballers hold up a thing to say for the young black boys who are not getting a chance in job interviews on a daily basis? Are we going to see them hold up shirts for, like Rant saying, being represented in the media? Or are we going to see them hold up? Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the big thing happens. We all get outraged, and rightly so. Then we go to sleep for 6 months, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 5 months, 2 years, a year, whatever. The next big thing happens. Then we go again. It's almost like what happens in the in-between bit. What I was going to say before is that I get it from the white perspective, which is from a person of no color or non-color, where they say, I feel like I'm being attacked, or I feel like I'm being, but then sometimes black people are being made to feel like anytime they bring this up when there hasn't been a monstrosity, we're just playing the race card. And that for me hurts, because I feel like, and I do it myself. Rants is obviously more outspoken than myself. And even me as a presenter, I find myself continually going, okay, maybe you want to keep doors open in your career. So maybe you don't want to say this, or you don't want to say that. But I feel like actually, do you know what I mean? Actually, I'm being made to suppress this out of the fear of going, someone's just going to say, you're playing the race card, when really I've been outside Old Trafford where I'm not going to say everybody who gives me abuse is racist, because that's not true. But I've been there. I can feel it. I can see it. I can sense it. And that goes back to the thing what you were saying, Mark, about it's our reality, because you would know what that feels like to be knowing that you're being judged by the way you can sense it, by the way someone's talking to you and the tone in their voice. You can almost say, I know what you really want to say. Do you know that? You're not just angry at fan cams. I know what you really want to say. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Though, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's why when people try to accuse you of playing cards and that, I ain't playing no cards. I know what it is. And the only people that really know how it feels are the people that's live with it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Every day we wake up here, we know we're black. You know what I mean? We've never gone through a day and not thought about it. You know what I mean? We have to speak a certain way. We have to dress a certain way. We have to maybe act a certain way around certain people. We're constantly changing who we are to fit around people. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, that's bullshit. You don't have to do that if you're any other race. You don't. Do you know what I mean? That's why I don't even like the term people of color, like, because it's like there's other non-whites that don't have to dress up who they are the way we do. Do Do you know what I'm saying? These guys,
like Mark said about the Hispanic or maybe something else, or yeah.
Some guys will be like, I'm not racist, but then when I'm walking past them, they're clutching their fucking handbags, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not clutching their handbags when they see an Indian guy walking next to them.
Well, you see the Central Park thing, Rants, with the dog.
Well, there
Did you see that, Mark? Did you see that? What happened was this woman was walking her dog in Central Park, and a black guy, an African American, let's just say a man though. Let's just say a man. A man politely asked her to put the dog on a lead. She's rang the police and said an African American man is being verbally aggressive to me. He's threatening me, you know, and painted that picture. And they came down there and arrested him, you know, and that just shows you, you know, how we have to deal with that on a daily basis. And look, just
on that there, because I remember when I went into police training college and you go in there for 12 weeks, and he walked in, the instructor, and he said, all black guys are robbers, all Asians are fraudsters, all white lads are car thieves. Stand up if you agree. Obviously no one agreed, and he went, you know what, statistically they are, that's what it is. But if you ever think that, walk out, because you cannot have that mindset. Everybody is the same, and if you walk onto the streets with that prejudicial thought, this ain't for you, and that's it. And look, you know, at that time, I'm sure statistically there was a lot of people who were, you know, young black lads who were robbers, a lot of fraudsters, maybe Indian descendancy, a lot of car thieves maybe were white guys. But that's the thing; it's stereotypical, and look, what will probably come out of this is you will probably start to see other media outlets getting a couple of black lads on the show, because they're like, shit, we better do that. They might even be watching this and going, oh my God, there's only one white lad and there's two black lads there. And that's not bigging up the United Stand, because ultimately the people on this channel are on it because they're good. Like, there's been black people, Asian people, white people, we've all seen them, they're not very good, they don't come on again. So it's a talent pool, and that's the way it should be. And I think that I can't talk about this. Even now, I just feel like, you know, hollow doing it, because it's not I don't feel that it matters. But I suppose that's part of the education process, isn't it? We've got to get everybody thinking the same.
It is.
Absolutely. That's what it is, Flex. Like, as I said, like, every day we go through our lives, we're conscious of it. You know what I mean? Another white privilege is not having to worry about what you look like, how you sound, whatever environment you're in. You're just there, bruv. You're just there. Do you know what I mean? Look, when we're going clubs and stuff like that, we know as black guys, if we're in more like a group of more than two, we ain't getting in. You know, like that.
I've experienced that reality. I've been there, done it. I was in Germany. 2 years ago. Me and my friends went out to watch Jurgen. Not 2 years ago. It must have been 2017. It was Jurgen Klopp's last game at Dortmund before he came over to England, and we wanted to experience the atmosphere at Borussia Dortmund and stuff. So we went over. Amazing atmosphere, brilliant stuff. Didn't experience any racism in the stands. It was brilliant. Everyone really friendly. Then we went out to go to a club in the evening, Mark, and we were queuing up, and we got to the front. I swear to you, the bouncer turned around, looked at his partner, and he went, no, and he went like this. And my friends, there was a couple of white guys with us and a couple of black guys, a couple of mixed race guys, and they were like, oh man, see what I mean? I knew this would happen. Let's just go. And I started kind of piping up, because I wasn't having it. I was like, what do you mean? What, the color of my skin? What, because of this, because of this? And they always say, you know, it's like police in different countries. You should really try and stay away from it, because we all know what road you can go down. You ain't got no rights out there, especially as a black man out there. You ain't got any rights out there. They don't give a crap about you. And it wasn't. I calmed down and I walked away from it. But I remember feeling what Rants is saying, and not even just in Germany. I've been out to nights out up north before, and like you're saying, Rants, if there's a group of you, you're not going to get in. And what you get is the passive, yeah, just not tonight, lads.
Not tonight, lads.
Just not tonight, lads. And you know what it is. You know what it is.
The fucking white geezer walking in fucking Converse. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what it'll be. Be your shoes. You ain't got the right. You're not allowed trainers in. And then someone walks in with a white guy might walk in Vans, or a girl might walk in Air Maxes.
Trainers on, yeah.
It happens
all the time. Like, it happens every day in our lives, isn't it? We always get reminded, whether someone's clutching their purse or whether you've got something expensive and someone assumes that you're a criminal because you're black. You shouldn't be driving that car. You shouldn't have that watch. You know what I'm saying? It's just like everyone's always assuming that you done something dodgy to have what you have. Like, why can't I just have a good job? Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is, bro. You don't have to think about it. When you're a white person, you don't have to kind of think, right, if someone sees me in this car, someone's gonna think I sell drugs or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I've seen in the comments people calling us drug dealers, Flex.
Is it? Oh, what?
Yeah,
Just in this one?
no, not today, but
Oh.
a bunch of fucking drug dealers from Luton. First of all, I'm not from Luton, and second of all, I'm not a drug dealer, mate. So I don't know where you got that from. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's just like you get all these things, and it's bullshit, bro. You know what I mean?
I think it comes into as well, Mark. I think just tired of it. I think there's been a lot of black people of influence and public speakers and stuff that have said, was I surprised by what I saw? No. Am I tired of it? Yes. It's an ongoing thing that happens in everyday life. But I wanted to kind of shift the conversation to wrap this part of it up anyway, and just say, like, I think this is so powerful, because I think, you know, as a team, we did kind of debate how we should tackle this. Not because we're scared to talk, but just I think we've got such a big platform with such a high viewership. You can always come off the wrong way or a different way than you want to come off. And I think in the end, we actually thought, you know what, we just need to go and address an elephant that's in the room, or just be ourselves. That's why this community has grown. That's why people watch us. That's why people want to be part of the United Stand community, because they feel they can come on and have their say, whether it be in football for Manchester United, which is obviously our primary purpose, but there are certain things that are bigger than that. And I think what we've showed in this 31 minutes is that actually we could have just, you know, put a disclaimer up and said, look, we're not doing any shows today, which again, AFTV have done that, and that's fine too. That's their way of making their stand. But I think we understand our audience and we respect what we've built. And I feel like it was way more powerful for us to be able to come on here, not just because Mark's white, not just because it's a bit of a mixed bunch, but just because we've set that precedence for people to have their say. And I think we've come on and done that well.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
With Woodsy, yeah, the comments underneath, bro, prime example. They don't
disgusting.
Want us to be do you know what I mean? They want us to be silent. So I think, yeah, having this platform and not saying something, yeah, it's a bad fucking idea. Do you know what I'm saying? Because not say anything.
We've got our black manager anyway. It's Rants. You know, he's going to be back soon with the team, and you know, there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people ducking us anyway. So we'll not that makes sense.
Yeah, I think to end this before we kind of go into a little bit of football, guys. Thanks for staying with us. I think the comments have been going off, and a lot of positive stuff in the comments. Over 3,000 people watching, which is absolutely brilliant. I haven't seen too much stupidity in the comments, and that's what it's about. Thanks for staying tuned in and talking about this. And I want to leave this bit by saying, if you're not a black person, please don't feel afraid to speak. I feel like just do your research, educate yourselves. That's another thing. Take ownership of your own understanding of this situation. And also, if you do have black friends, by all means, depending on the relationship you have with them, ask them how they feel, ask them what they think. Just be open, just express it in a forum.
You ask them, innit? That's the best thing to do. If you're not sure, just ask, innit? That's what Mark did. Mark wasn't sure what he wanted to say. He didn't want to say something and it come across the wrong way, so he asked, innit? That's all you need to do. You know what
exactly.
I mean? I think I mean, I don't have the answers, but I do think that this has been going on since Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It's been going on for a long, long time, and it still keeps rearing its head. And black people have fought this for decades, not longer than that, slavery and everything. So maybe there are people out there, maybe there are Piers Morgans, maybe there are white men, Asian men, whatever, white women who actually can have these conversations now, because it's opened my eyes a lot that there's a lot of people out there who want to do something about it that aren't black. And maybe that is part of the solution. In fact, it probably is that you don't need to be a black person marching. You need to make the minority the racists, and everyone needs to be vocal about it. And I think, I do think as well that there are people who are totally behind it that probably do just stay quiet because they don't know what to do. But you know what? It just takes a little bravery to ask, doesn't it? And you might get told to F off. It's nothing to do with you, but it's not the same as walking around and being persecuted like these people are. So I think there's a lot that can be done.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful to come on.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it. And also just to point out, in America, the message is that we can have your LeBron Jameses, your Dwayne Wades, your Lewis Hamiltons, your black superstars, your Marcus Rashfords. you know, your Anthony Joshua's. We can have them come out till the cows come home and, you know, ride this home. But the essential thing is this, is that they are a minority in a minority.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What we actually need, which I'm saying in America, which I 100% agree with, is they need white people in privileged positions, in big positions. You know, if I don't want to get too political, but if the president of America came out and said, this is a disgrace, and, you know, people were arrested straight away and didn't kind of circumnavigate around certain things, maybe there would have been a different reaction. We almost need the people who are able to help change, who hold high positions, to start speaking out and start making things happen. It's been great to talk about this. Look, I tell you what, we'll move on to a little bit of football though, to finish off. It was called Solskjaer's swap deal. That's what the video is called. And we wanted to.
I'll tell you what. I'll let you two do your show, because that's the football bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks for having me on, and I'll speak to everyone later.
Cool. No worries, man. Nice one. Yes, Rants. Basically, we were talking about the situation that, like, there might not be that much money going around in this transfer window. So I think it was Fabrizio Romano was actually saying we could see a lot of trades, almost like what it's like in basketball. You know what I'm saying? They don't have transfers one way. It's a two-way thing unless someone's a free agent. Let's talk about maybe our team and some of the players that potentially could be in swap deals, how you could maybe offload some of the players who you think don't fit into it, or even maybe a big money player you might think we could get in swap deals. So, and players that, like you said, are the deadwoods, etc. So I don't know, if I fire a couple of names at you, let's say Andreas Pereira.
Yeah.
Who do you think you could swap him with?
I don't think we could swap anyone for Pereira. I don't think anyone.
What, as in, like...
No, who the hell would want him, like? Do you know what I mean? Who are we swapping him? What team, bro? Like, unless we want some kid from the Granada youth team or something. Bro, nah, I mean, come on, let's be serious now. There's no player team that we could swap for anyone decent. Alexis Sanchez.
Lingard for Grealish.
No, I think Lingard's better than Aston Villa. Like, no disrespect to Aston Villa, innit? But Lingard's better than Aston Villa, bro. Like, he is, innit? Like, it would be good. That would be a good swap deal for us, but it wouldn't be good for Jesse. Like, why would he want to go there? I think Jesse would be better than that. There's rumours of Jesse going to Italy. I think he'd do well in that league. You know what I mean? Who'd
you swap for?
I think Alexis is the only player that
you could
value in the transfer market. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, what club would want him in it? He's a fraud. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of them ones. Who the hell would want Alexis Sanchez, bro? And this is it. When it comes to Manchester United, not only have we spent badly, but also the contracts that we've offered players are terrible as well. That's why we can't get rid of this dead wood, because they're all on big money. Phil Jones is on over 100 bags. All these players.
Who'd you swap him with? Can't swap him. I
would swap them. I'd terminate their contracts, bro. Honestly, because the money we would save not paying these guys wages is worth it. Just taking a hit and just getting rid of them. Because they're just sitting there, just taking up money. Honestly, I'd terminate contracts, bro. You know what I mean?
Because you don't think the right people will come in for them anyway?
Yeah, I just don't want to see you, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Just don't want you in there.
I just want to see Carrington piss off. Like, that's what I would do. I'd terminate the contract. Literally, terminate. I'll take the hit.
You know what's funny? Yeah, whenever you come up with like managerial like solutions, they're always so like, like it can't happen in real life, but it's like a logical thing to do. But like, it just can't happen
in real life. I'm the manager. It can happen, bro. Like, do you see what Van Persie said about Van Gaal? Van Gaal said, "You gotta find a new club because I'm not playing you." That's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, bro, I'm not playing, innit? So you might as well tell your agent to go look for somewhere else. As ruthless as that was from Van Gaal, he decided that this guy weren't in my plan, so F off, innit? That's what I'm on as a manager. I'll say, Andreas, you know what, lad? It's not going to work out. There's nothing you can do. I don't care if you come in and, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you come in like FIFA Team of the Week level. I'm not playing you.
Yeah.
I'll tell Phil Jones, no matter what you do, bro.
You can't play. Even if he shuts out Rashford and Martial in training, they can't get past him, nothing.
How well you play in training, I'm not playing you. It's personal, bro. Like, I'll tell them. I'll be like, it's personal. I don't like you. I say, I don't like you, man. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't like you. It's not going to change. You know, like that. It's one of
because you do get that in football. You do get that in football. Like things change so quickly, and you could just literally 1 minute everything's fine. The next minute the manager has a different change of heart, wants to take the team in a new direction, or a new manager comes in and just don't fancy you. That simple.
Bro, there's some players that I look at and I could say to them, you know what? If they added this to their game or they did something, I could see something. Bruv, with Pereira and Jones, I'm looking at them and saying, there's no, I don't care what you do, bruv. I don't care if you find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I'm not playing you, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? There's certain man, it doesn't matter what they do, I'm not playing them. You know what I mean? And so I tell them to leave. I'll tell them to leave. Or else you're going to be training with the Rezzies, mate.
All right, what are you saying about, I haven't spoke to you since, obviously, the Igalo news, yeah? Because I saw, like, a lot of conflicting opinions, and I was kind of shocked. For me, just to let you know what I thought, I was just like, I think it's a decent stopgap. Everyone was like, oh, it means that the Glazers have got you in their back pocket, they're lowering their expectations. And I'm like, hold on a minute. No one said Igalo signed on a 4-year deal is going to be the main striker. Man's going to be third choice. Where do you stand on it?
It's a great signing. I spoke to him, actually. I spoke to him. Because when the Josh King thing was going on, like, I spoke to him, innit? And I said to him, I basically just said that, right, like, I don't know what's going on, innit? But, like, you done yourself proud when you come here. Like, a lot of people weren't too sure, including me, bruv, like, how it was going to work. Like, I saw how it could work, but I was kind of underwhelmed, innit? But
we can't lie and say we were like, yes. Yeah.
He done himself proud. I said to him, bruv, you done yourself proud, you done your country proud and that. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully you stay, bruv. And he said to me, he was like, bruv, like, nothing's been decided yet, innit? I'm not definitely going back. Like, I want to stay, the club want to keep me, so hopefully something can get done. So I knew
that's what happened.
So I knew ahead of time he wasn't leaving, innit? Because from he said that to me, I knew he wasn't leaving. You know what I mean? These guys were saying, yeah, he's going back. And he said to me, no. You know what I mean? So when I spoke to him, and then obviously I messaged him after I saw the news and that, and he's happy to be here, bro. And you know what? Every time he's coming, he's impacted the game, innit? That's more that can be said than a lot of people that people aren't criticising. Do you know what I'm saying? He hasn't had a bad game for us yet. Every time he's played, he's done what he was meant to do, innit? And with a player like him, that's what you're going to get every time, bro. Like, what he does well, innit? And that's just it. Like, we're not saying that he's going to be a world beater or he's meant to be. He's a squad player. You know what I mean? And he's a very efficient squad player. And he's different to what we have. So
that's it.
I'm very happy. I said I would have paid 10 million for him, like, because it's for what he gives us, bro. Do you know what I mean? So all these people that don't think it's a good signing till Jan, like, we were never signing a striker in the summer anyway.
That's where I was coming from. I was more looking at it like, one, our priority clearly is the right-hand side this summer. All the noises are pointing towards Jadon Sancho. If not Jadon Sancho, then someone in that position. And also, you talk about moves that happen at the right times that fit. Like, we need a person right now who's going to accept that squad role of sporadic. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we've got a young Mason Greenwood who we're trying to kick on. We've got a Martial who we want to be our number one striker. Solskjaer definitely wants him to be that. Obviously, we've got Rashford there as well. So I think it just fits with what we need right now in this current climate, especially with post-COVID-19, how the it's going to be in the transfer market. We're not going to be able to go and spend 100 million on Sancho, then 80 million on Werner, then 70 million on Partey, and it's just not going to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a realistic stopgap, and I think if you look at it contextually and you understand it properly, it's nothing to do with, wow, look how low your club's fallen. If he was starting every single week and we said, right, we're doing a rebuild, we want you to spearhead the attack for 38 games, that's an issue. That's an issue.
There you go. That's why
but we're not saying that.
That's why context is important. In terms of coming off the bench, bro, do you know what I mean? You just got to look at Origi at Liverpool and that, bro. Like, you need these players where they come in and they just give you something different and they do what they're doing, bro. You see what 100%. I'm saying? And that's what it is, Flex, bro. I don't know. Like, certain people are getting outraged at the wrong things. I think certain United fans, they want to call me angry, for upholding certain values, but at least I'm realistic about it. Do you know what I mean? These men getting angry over Igalo coming in, but what else are we gonna flip and get? Do you know? Like,
especially in this window.
The money ain't really there to be spending bare man, and we're gonna prioritize the right hand side because it's the most important. You know what I mean? The striker is very low down the list in terms of what we need because we've already got a starting striker. We don't have a starting right winger that's good enough. You could argue we don't have a starting second centre back that's good enough, because Eric Bailly is questionable in terms of fitness. So for me, centre back and right wing are the two most problematic areas in the team because Matic is good enough, he's good enough to play with Bruno and Pogba. He's good enough, bro. He's experienced enough. So it's not an area that man needs urgently, bro. Lindelof, I see Lindelof get brushed aside by Mason the other day. Mason.
I see that.
I mean, Mason ain't even got facial hair and he's dashing. Are you pushing around my first choice centre back? You're never playing for me again if that happens.
Oh, it can happen in a one-off tackle, man. Come on.
No.
It can happen.
Mason Greenwood could have put me up the ball, blood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a centre back. No way.
Any centre back can get done, man. Come on, any centre back.
You got pushed off the ball. You're 6 foot plus, 13 stone centre back, bro. 13 and a half stone, and you got dashed by some little. He
did get jigged, and you know what? It looked like one of them smart ones where Lindelof tried to like do the bully thing.
Yeah, and he's move out the way, bro.
I said he wouldn't play for me. God help any player who makes a mistake in Rants' training sessions, man.
As a centre back, fuck all the fancy shit, First and foremost, protect that football, innit? I mean, you're a defender. You're supposed to put your life on the line, bro. It's like you're a bodyguard, bro. You got to be willing to jump in front of a bullet for man. What's the point in security for someone to be like, I'll protect you, but if a man pulls out a gun, I'm
I've got
you know, like that. You're paying me to
defend
me, and I'm like, you know what, man's got a gun. You know, it's been nice knowing you, fam. You know, like that.
You know what? To finish off on that Gallo thing, I was actually saying, Bob, I would have signed him for the year. Yeah. Because if in January, it kind of puts us back to square one where we were last January.
January. So if we go in January to replace him, it's going to cost us more money. We might as well have kept
Exactly. I would just keep him to the end of the 21 season. And then, because we would have hopefully got a Sancho plus a reinforcement here and there, then maybe go big for another forward in that summer or whatever. See how Tony develops. Maybe it goes a different direction. Who knows? But yeah, I think that was a weird one. Last couple of things. All this Sal Niguez stuff. Are you
sports fuckeries, blood?
Are you reading into that?
That's some esports rubbish, blood. That ain't no Man United team. He's gonna come out and say that he's got some flipping FIFA team or something, bro. I'm not hearing that. Like, bro, it's not even January. Like, he can't move nowhere. Like, the season's not over. He can't move, bro. All this like new club thing, it's nonsense, bro. We ain't got Sal Niguez, bro. You know
Don't add up, does it? Does not add up.
No, man. Like, man's gonna announce some nonsense, bro. New team, maybe he signed it for a new agency or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or something.
Exactly. I think that. I said he's going to change boot sponsors. I think he's with New Balance. He'll probably change from them to Nike or something. Say I'm in the nightclub.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm about Sal Niguez, bro. We're not saying it. Like, I saw Rio comment on it, but bro, who knows? It's probably something to do with flipping social media or computer games, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a new Twitch account, probably, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. No, I'm not buying that Sal Niguez nonsense. Do you know what I mean? I think we'll be in for Declan Rice before we're in for Sal Niguez, bro.
Yeah, and also I was talking, you know, Shane, my boy. I was like, he knows his football quite well, and we were just talking. He was like, I know it might sound mad, yeah, but he said? He just posed a question. He goes, "What is he even definitely 100% better than Fred? Then, yeah." He said, "Can he move like Fred? Can he run like Fred?" No. And I was like, you know what? We always think players that are kind of in a team that's doing well and they look the part. We always assume that they're definitely 100% better than what we got, and it's not always the case. I'm not saying that Sal Niguez can't lace Fred's boots. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, if you think about it, you never know. Like that's a fair argument. I know it's easy as a football Twitter and football FIFA and social media football to say, "Oh, Sal Niguez is way better than Fred" and all of that. You don't know. It isn't that clear cut.
I'm tired of people that don't understand football and systems talking shit about players, saying that they're this, they're that, they're that. I even made the example, And there's a guy, Statman Baines, that follows me, and I got him to draw up John Joe Shelby's stats compared to Jordan Henderson's. And John Joe Shelby's had a better season than Jordan Henderson, but Jordan Henderson's in flipping the team of the season because he's
team of the world. He's in the team. He's in the team of the century.
And John Joe stats have battered him. Like, do you know what I mean? And that shows you anyone could do what Henderson's doing right now. Do you know what I mean? Like flipping Moussa Dembele at Tottenham, yeah, but they compare these stats are better than flipping Henderson's as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, bro, when you're in a good team sometimes, you know what I mean? You're just there, bruv. Do you know what I mean? You're just like a cog in the machine, bruv. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. You can be the cog in the machine sometimes and not be that.
Yeah. You can have an amazing career with being a cog in the machine.
Danny Drinkwater won a Premier League title, yeah, at Leicester City. Then went to Chelsea and done nothing. And now where is he, bro? Like, it shows you sometimes you're just a cog in the machine, bro. And that's all you are, innit? Like, and people get too gassed over it. So, like Fred was a cog in a dead machine, yeah, and he was putting in them performances on his own when no one else was. Do you know what I mean? So he earned the right to at least say, you know what? He's a player, innit? It's not the system. It's not nothing. Like, he's actually been grafting, innit? There's a lot of these footballers out here that look better than they are because they're in a fully functioning machine, bro.
100%.
So that's all. It's easier to look at a player that's playing in a settled system that has a role in the team and everything to say, yeah, he's better than that guy. But really, is he better than him or is he just in a better team, bro?
There you go. And also about the attributes that fit into your own team with what we need right now. Is he going to run as hard as Fred? Is he going to give us the tenacity of Fred? Is he going to be chomping at your ankles? Is he going to be about when you've already got a Bruno and a Pogba who maybe that's not their strength? You know, it's all about balance in the team. So yeah, I'm not sitting here saying, because you know what football's like, Rants, or the world's like. In 2 days' time, he announces that he's signing for Manchester United, and we're doing videos saying, "Oh, how does he fit into the midfield?" But what I'm saying, I'm not saying I never want him and he's crap. I'm just saying, what Rants is saying, I don't believe he's coming. And two, how much better is he than what we have? There's a discussion to be had there. Zara, there's a contribution here, says Henderson is dead food. And Trent Singh says, this is one for you, Rants. Non-United question for Rants. Does he still stick to his statement that peak Sturridge or prime Sturridge is better than peak Kane?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll stick to that to the day I die, bro, for the simple fact that, like I was saying about Daniel as well, yeah, that, look, Harry Kane's got this thing, yeah, where he don't score in August, bro. And Daniel Sturridge has this thing that he'll be out for 9 months and come back and bag a hat-trick on his birthday. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, Daniel Sturridge doesn't even need to play his way into form because he's just a gunman, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Daniel Sturridge has just been very unlucky that he's been unfit, but when he's been fit, yeah, his goal-to-game ratio and goals-to-minutes ratio is flipping ridiculous, guys.
And to put that into context, because you know what the internet's like, that's not you saying that right now, as we stand, that because that's what will happen. That's what will happen. You know what will happen.
But the fact are, yeah, like Daniel Sturridge, when he's fit and he's firing, yeah, this geezer has got everything. He can do everything that Harry Kane does, bro, and more. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing Harry Kane picking up the ball and ghosting past players and doing that. Sturridge can do all that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just go back and watch that season that he had with Sterling and Suarez. It's one of the best seasons, yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He was brilliant that season.
Like English striker, like ever, bro. In terms of the variation in the different types of goals he scored.
Yeah, he just couldn't stay fit, and essentially, unfortunately, in football, if you can't stay fit, you're never going to have that career that you either should have or
fit, maybe deserve. 99% of it, bro. Because if you're not fit, stay in it.
Exactly. The rest can come on.
Still stick with the Sturridge thing. Sturridge is very, very underrated, and that's down to his injuries. For
real. And to finish off today's show, again, I haven't spoke to you since kind of all football was definitely confirmed as coming back. We're at that stage now. A lot of players who were maybe against it at the start have now started coming out and saying, you know, we've got more reassurances. We're in a safe environment. I read a Tyrone Mings interview with the Daily Mail Sport the other day. Proper good interview, man. He basically was saying, like, look, you know, players at the beginning, we didn't have a lot of assurances. And we were at a different place with the virus than we was, because everyone was trying to accuse him and any other team who were coming out in favour of voiding league, that they're only doing it because they don't want to get relegated and no one cares. When really, I rate Tyrone Mings a lot for what he said. Even just him as a person, he does a lot for mental health and stuff like that, along with a load of other players. I liked what he had to say, and it was just basically saying that we're in a different space now, and essentially we're in a very a lot of safer space than the average person who has to go back to work in society, who ain't got consistent testing, who isn't in that closed environment. I know obviously there was a point where you was like, just kill it, man. What's the point? Have you changed with, you know, as things have evolved, as we've gone on with this virus? Do you still say you still don't think it should come back, or are you kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's coming back now, so we just move?
Yeah, it's coming back, so let's just bloody get on with it. Do you know what I mean? I want to say that football without fans is rubbish. I haven't enjoyed watching a football match since football's come back.
Do you think it will change? That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that will change because this is now something going to be that we're emotionally invested in? I think we can't all sit here and profess to be Bundesliga's experts. I don't care about Union Berlin against Frankfurt, bro. I don't care about do you know what I'm saying?
I don't even care about.
But when it's going to be our team playing and the league that we know inside out, I think it's going to be different.
I'll be invested. Do you know what I'm saying? But other teams, not so much. You know what I mean? City, Arsenal, yeah, I'll be invested to a certain degree, but I just feel I'd rather have fake fan noise than no fan noise, bro. I honestly think that.
Have you seen that? Pumping in the FIFA noises and that into there just to when you watch it on TV. Would you have that?
Anyway, do you know what I mean? And they do that at Tottenham as well with the flipping speakers. I wouldn't mind doing it. And I think it would help the players as well, just to hear something. Because I think it would be spooky for players playing without the fan noise. Honestly. I don't think that the fan noise, they should just play it out the speakers or something, bro. Like, because I think it will add to it.
Fair play, fair play. Listen, guys, we've come to the end of this week's show. I'm happy, man. I feel good. I feel so good that we've come out, we've spoke about what needed to be spoke about, and still managed to do what we do, which is talk football. But like you said, there are a lot of things that are bigger than football, and racism is one of them, and we experience it in different ways, consciously or unconsciously. It's there, innit? We're not stupid. So big up to everyone in the comments who's joined us today. Big up to Mark coming on as well. It could have been easy for him to shy away from it and think, I'll tell you what, I'll leave you lads to do that. That, you know, it affects you lot, not me. It just shows what a community we are and what a team that we are, innit? So yeah, man, big up to everyone who's locked in. Thanks for everyone who's kind of given their views on it as well. And just continue to keep educating yourself, guys. Continue to keep your mind open and understand what's actually going on around us. And most of all, understand that it's bigger than football. Please don't have this perception that, oh, I'm tired of hearing about it, or for God's sake, this is a football channel, or this program's supposed to be about something else. Why am I hearing about this? There's certain things that are bigger than life itself. So well, that is life itself. So big up for that, man. Rants, big up all the socials. Yo, you there?
Right then.
Are you there? Oh,
I'm here.
Yeah, it just froze. It just froze there. I don't know what happened there. Big up the socials, Rants.
Yes, Rants and Bants.
It's just frozen. I don't know what happened there. Can you guys still hear me and see me? I don't know. Is it just me or is it Rants that's gone? I don't know
why you're doing that, bro. I can see you. That's
yeah. All right, you're back now. All right, let's finish off quickly. Big up the socials. We'll try one more time. He's frozen again. It's just Rants that's froze. All right, I'll big up Rants and socials because Alex says Rants and socials isn't allowed. Every time he goes to say it, it keeps freezing. He's at Rants and Bants on Twitter, Instagram. Check out his Twitch as well, at Rants and Bants. You know where to find him across all the socials. Check me out at Flex UTD across all the socials as well. We're doing some great stuff on our individual channels, our YouTube channels. I've got one called The Flex Rants, one is Rants and Bants as well. And yeah, man, we'll be back same time, same place next week. Peace, people. Peace.